Welcome to Google for Real Estate. We're here live on Clubhouse every Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Derek, born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, commercial and residential real estate agent since 2006, making 18 years right now, outdoor adventure sportsman, and Google marketing geek. In this room, we talk about how to dominate Google local search and get business from our Google business profiles, as well as discuss other Google tools. Today, we're going to be talking about a few pieces of news and some local services ads, so Google ad stuff. Replays are available on Clubhouse typically for a week. I think I might have left a couple on there this time, but typically a week on Clubhouse, and then everything else can be found on my website via a Google Drive link, along with any supplemental screen share videos or templates or anything. Please come up on stage if you are here live on Clubhouse, and if you're not here live on Clubhouse, feel free to join us live on Clubhouse. I always put the link to find us here if you want to ask a question or just hang out or whatever. And if you're here and come up the stage, you can interact, interject if you want, have a question, just stop me. And if you're down below, please come up. You don't have to say anything either, just join us. Or you can just hang down there. That's cool too. And if you are in a different profession or know somebody in a different profession, especially a local type of business, most of the things we talk about, if not almost everything we talk about, can translate to other local type businesses, even though we always focus on real estate in here. All the links to the things are in the chat: replays, Spotify link, Apple Podcast link, wherever you like to consume your content. You can find all the replays there. Free discovery call if you need to check me out, and subscribe on YouTube. I verified my YouTube channel, which you got to upload your ID, which I kept putting off, blah, blah, blah. Had to do that in order to get access to connect my RSS feed from from this quote unquote podcast show, whatever you want to call this. So now you can catch the replays on YouTube as well. And the link above the room at the top is a link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that's something I want to focus on a little bit more in 2025, is growing the YouTube channel and maybe making that a little bit more of a thing. So feel free to click that link, and it is the sub confirmation equals one link. So hopefully it takes you right to subscribing. And if you want the hack to that, you take your channel link, and this is in the Real Estate All Day, and other people have said this too, but I have a post in the Real Estate All Day Facebook group that shows you how to do it. You just add this little bit of code, so to speak, to the end of your channel link, and then when people click it, it takes them like directly to, as if they already clicked the subscribe button. Just doesn't just take them to your channel. So if you want to find out about that, just search Derek YouTube and the Real Estate All Day Facebook group. New show. I just put this on here last second when I was about to open the room. I want to start announcing this, and I think it's going slow, and we're both very busy, so we don't talk about it a ton. But Krista Lorenzo and I'm going to put this out there into the world. She's already got a couple guests on the interest form already, so I'm going to start talking about it, and we need to get this rolling. Just do the damn thing. Poop or get off the pot. So I typed this on here. We got a new show, whatever you want to call it. We don't have a name for it. It's basically Krista Lorenzo, who is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then myself, who is in South Central Pennsylvania. So us two have a live, probably via StreamYard, for 30 minutes, we're thinking right now. Obviously, these things evolve as you go. And then interviewing other agents from around, kind of like what I did with Want to Move There, my show I had. I think I did 30 or 40 episodes of that. So I'm definitely, if you were on that show, I'm going to be hitting you up to do another episode of not Want to Move There, but something similar. And I was even thinking we should find somebody in the Philadelphia area, because then we'd have both the most west, the most east, the two biggest cities, and then me in the capital in the center, and then maybe even add a couple more. You could almost just come up with a whole state show. It's just a state show, the Pennsylvania real estate show. I think ours is going to be national, and we want all you to come on, which is why I'm talking about it here. The link is in the chat on Clubhouse, and I'll put it on the podcast places too. But I think you could do just a state show like Pennsylvania. There are enough regions, or at least, so if I had those three, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, me and Harrisburg in the center, but I'm kind of South Center. If we had somebody in State College, which is where Penn State is, obviously, and that's kind of if you had a die, on number 6, 3, and 3, I'd be at the bottom, kind of third, and State College would be the top middle one. That doesn't make any sense. Well, I guess it makes sense, but anyhow, so State College and maybe like a couple more would be good. And then I think you could do more. I mean, you could almost come up with 52 little regions of a state and find a person from each region, and that's a weekly show. And then you just redo it again next year, start all over. So that's not what we're doing. We're doing national, international. Antonio was on my Want to Move There show, so I'm gonna definitely be hitting up Antonio to be on that. Pretty much the same thing. I think I had somebody, not think, I had somebody from Nigeria, from Lagos. I'm trying to think who else. Canadians. I definitely had at least, trying to think. So I've already had multi countries on mine. So it'll be international, but I think the state idea is kind of cool too. And I definitely want to pull in, even if it's not state, I want to get somebody possibly from Philadelphia, from the eastern. Obviously, it's the, I don't know what largest city, fifth largest city, sixth, I don't know, something like that in the U.S., definitely the biggest city in Pennsylvania. So it would make sense to kind of get somebody to participate from there. So if you're in Philly, no, I know people. Please don't hit me up, but we will be hitting somebody up probably, or multiple people possibly. So anyway, new show. I put the link in the chat and the link. So the link that you would be clicking if you took your pointer finger or thumb and click that link will take you to a Google form, which will just ask for your name, phone number, and I think that's it. Maybe brokerage or something. It's really just to show interest that yes, I'm down to be on this show. It would be 30 minutes. It would be possibly live, possibly pre-recorded and then streamed as if live, because you can do that on StreamYard, and sometimes that's easier when you're trying to book guests and align schedules. So the link, if you click it, will take you to that to express interest, and then once I get a buildup of interest, then I'll shoot out the actual scheduler, and then once a bunch of people schedule, I'll pay for StreamYard, and we'll get rocking and rolling. Pretty much ready. Other than that, I suppose. So, new show. Long 5 minutes about the new show. And today we're talking about a couple pieces of news. Did I paste them in here? I forgot to paste them in here, which I will do. But we got some news. We'll do some Ask Me Anything. If anybody has any questions or issues with Google Business Profile, local services ads, or otherwise digital marketing. And then we'll get into the topic of a blue ocean strategy we've all been missing. And I'm going to check my Clubhouse because I don't usually watch it. Scap, come up if you want. And I think I invited everybody else. If anybody sees, I didn't mod anybody. Here you go, Denise, Antonio. Let's mod everybody. There's only 5 of us up here anyway. If you see Marilyn Milliner, Lisa, come up. Carissa, come up. If you see Marilyn come in, invite her butt up here because she's the one that's supposed to be talking about her experience on this blue ocean strategy, which I can still talk about, but that's the topic for today. And then I think that would be it. So I will start with Ask Me Anything as I go find my news things to copy and paste into my notes. So does anybody have any questions, issues, anything with Google Business Profile or otherwise? And if not, speak up if you do. I just thought of a big news that just happened, which I just added to the last of my notes here, which I need to do a video for today because it's pretty not huge news, but anytime there's a change in the actual dashboard for Google Business Profile, that's kind of a big deal, and everybody needs to do it. So there's that. And then there was another one I was just about to add, but I forget. So maybe I'll remember. So anyway, going once, going twice, 3 times for asking me a question. And I'm going to take a silent break for a second because my mouth is getting dry. And I just looked over. I got my TV on, silent, obviously, and it's I have it on Samsung Plus. They have the Samsung TV has its own built-in their own network that's free and it has commercials or whatever. But anyway, I always have it on the Saturday Night Live channel. And right now, D in a Box is playing with Justin Timberlake and I forget his name, but that was kind of funny to look over to. So anyway, we'll go into the news. So a little piece of news. This is probably old news to some people, but I didn't know it. Not too old, but the Associated Press is now supposed to be integrated somehow with Google and Gemini. So they have some type of agreement between them, where the Associated Press kind of feeds directly on the back end with some kind of API to Google, to Gemini, which is Google's AI, to answer questions, know the news, all the things that it would do with news things. This is not good for news outlets because typically the Associated Press throws it out to all the news outlets, then they all cover it, and everybody watches that stuff, and then Google Gemini would get its information from those news outlets. But now Gemini is getting a direct feed from the Associated Press, apparently. So that's a fairly big piece of news having to do with AI. AI is continues to be in the news and all over everything tech related. So that's a kind of a big deal. The main news source and outlet feeding directly to Google's AI. That's pretty big in my opinion. Google also has invested, and this is somewhat old news as well. I don't think I've talked about it here though. Google invested in Reddit. So a while back, I want to say a couple months, few months, sometime in 2024, maybe 6 months, Google started, they changed their algorithm and they started favoring forums to answer questions because it's users, it's not Google preference, giving preferential treatment to certain blog articles or its own products or anything. So for whatever reason, they wanted to make forums more prominent in the search results. So you might have seen Reddit at the top of a lot of query search results. What's the best this? What's the best that? How do you do this? Anything that people would talk about in forums. And then I heard that Google had invested a bunch of money. I heard one person say they bought it, but I'm not sure that's the case. I haven't read up a lot of it on it, but they definitely for sure invested in Reddit, which would make sense and sounds kind of fishy, obviously, if they invested in Reddit and then changed their algorithm to favor forums, which has backed off a little bit. I've heard that forums are not ranking so well as they were for a while there. They were like crushing a lot of queries, but they're in there and higher than they used to be, I believe. So Google invested in Reddit. Uh, this is the next piece of news is a change to oh yeah, so this is AI related as well. Google changed the way it serves up search results so that now searchers have to have, this is the way I understand it. I'm not a coder, don't know the back end, blah blah blah. But searchers have to have JavaScript enabled to be able to read the search results essentially when they search something. So when they made this change, it disrupted a bunch of SEO tools because a lot of SEO tools where we pay a bunch of money and we click a button and then it tells us where you rank and gives you all this data and everything, it is essentially going kind of on the back end and going to Google and searching and looking at all the results and kind of doing the thing that you would do just on the back end super quickly and everything. So a lot of those SEO tools did not have JavaScript enabled on them, so they all got disrupted. Most of the major ones, or at least a lot of the major ones, were okay because they had already instituted something for that, or they had a plan already in place, or reacted fast, or whatever the case was. So it disrupted a lot of SEO tools. It was all over the SEO news. And they did it, the more bigger news is they did it to stop other AIs from crawling and doing and taking the data. So essentially, they instituted this need for JavaScript to see search results so that ChatGPT and competitor AIs can't scan it. That's how I understand it. Now, is there a way to get past that? Probably. Why wouldn't there be? It seems like somebody will get past it right away, maybe already. And again, I'm not that techie, but they did change. the way that that happens. And I do have an article which I guess I could post in the chat. So if you want to read more on that, there is a link in the chat on Clubhouse, and maybe I'll put that on YouTube. I should put more resources on the YouTube thing. Anyhow, so that changed with Google. Got to have JavaScript to look at search results. Disrupted some SEO tools for a while. A lot of the good ones were all good, and they did it so that AI um, can't crawl and take Google's hard work. Because there is a big AI war going out there, as we all know. Next piece of news, quality of fake reviews is getting worse and more easily detectable. I was listening to a podcast with a guy who specializes in analyzing reviews, both on Google and other places, does a lot of studies. He helps people with if they've been with really bad review problems on Google or elsewhere, if somebody's hired somebody to give lots of bad reviews to somebody else, or they're trying to get a competitor who has lots of fake good reviews, or whatever the case may be. The guy's a review expert. But he said that the quality of fake reviews is getting worse and more easily detectable because they're now using AI because these farms, they're literally review farms in other countries, maybe here too, I don't know, but definitely in other countries where there are literally people just sitting around with thousands of cell phones everywhere with different IP addresses and all these things going out and selling. Normally, they get a client by selling them good reviews, and then somewhere along the way, sometimes they're like, "Hey, we're kind of maxed out on this, or do you also you want to give some fake bad reviews to your competitors?" And then a lot of people say yes. But when they give these fake reviews, whether they're good or bad, they're using AI now a lot of the time, and he's saying that it's pretty easy to spot these AI ones because before it was at least a person and it was more real. But now they know they've got scanners and other AI that detects AI, and they can just detect patterns that happen, and it makes it even easier to spot fake reviews. I should find the link for that show. That's a good show for people to listen to. If I can, I'll put that on there. I forget even what show that was on, but I found it interesting that AI is making it easier to detect fake reviews. Next is Bing is now hiding Google rather than faking like they are Google, like they were before. So before they were, if you remember, I talked about it 2 weeks ago, maybe. If you went to Bing, probably in the Edge browser, which is what the Microsoft browser is called, and typed in Google and you're trying to go to google.com to make a Google search, it would take you to a thing that looked like a Google search, but wasn't a Google search. It was, looked like a search bar, slightly different, like the corners of the search little thing you type in were slightly different, and then it had an image on the top of it, kind of like Google makes an image out of the Google word. It had an image there that didn't say Google, but just at first glance, like it basically looked like Google, and then everybody searches, and they're searching on Bing now instead. So obviously there was a big hubbub about it, and now, and I didn't test this out, I just heard this the other day, but they have taken that away now, but they're just pretty much hiding Google altogether. You just can't find Google in their search results at all, or it's way buried, or you got to go to the bottom, and then next page and all that kind of stuff. So Bing continues to bury Google and stop people from getting to Google when you're searching from Bing, and like I said, probably from an Edge browser. And I did recently download the Edge browser to my phone, and I already have it on my computer. I don't use it much, but on my phone particularly, because that's mobile, I wanted to kind of use it a little bit and be able to search and see what comes up on Bing when I search things, local business stuff particularly. But um, interesting, Bing still going right at Google, like not even playing. I should try. I haven't gone to Google and searched Bing. I wonder what happens there. Actually, I'm looking at my computer right now, so I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type in. Well, no, I can't type it in the URL line because it'll take me Bing. I'm just going to type Bing. Top result on Google is Microsoft Bing search, and if you click it, it takes you to the actual Bing that looks like a Google search. Has a little camera button, lens like Google, all the things. But anyway, Google's not playing the same game. They are secure in their search manhood, womanhood, whatever Google is. Next piece of news, turn on. Oh no, I'm going to turn that off because that's the topic. We will talk about that in a second. Google invested again in Anthropic. Anthropic is an AI safety and research company that's working to build reliable, interpretable, and steerable AI systems. So basically, Anthropic, and I believe they make Claude, which is an AI assistant type of thing, another AI tool. So they have invested in that. So Google invests in lots of things across search, across AI. Uh, Anybody that thinks that they're lagging behind or not investing or not chasing the same thing as Microsoft and OpenAI and DeepSeek and all the others, they're still doing it. And I love Google search. Like you just go to a regular Google search, it's using AI right there for unless you're doing a branded search or a local search, it's going to be different. But any kind of query or question is going to give you an awesome answer, in my opinion, for it. Every time I have an informational question, it always gives me an AI answer that answers it exactly, gives me the links exactly where it came from. If I want to scroll down and see regular results, they're right there. Yada yada. I'm a fan of Google's AI also. Some of their other tools kind of are lame or are not finished yet, I suppose. But I like search. A lot of people are keep talking bad about search, or maybe I'm just too much of a Google person. Now I lost my notes. So Google invested in again in Anthropic. Apparently they had invested before. Near you on websites works. So this was another podcast I was listening to, or YouTube. That was a YouTube video, and they were saying that literally verbatim, putting near you, making a page on your website called "Real Estate Agent Near You," and then kind of make a probably just a home page, kind of like your home page, make it a little bit different so Google doesn't scan it and see an exact replica of another page. But I would make a whole separate page, kind of like a main home page, titled "Real Estate Agent Near You." Or you could do "near me" too, but "near you" makes more sense when they go to read it, and the experts said that "near you," "near me" are pretty much interchangeable with Google. So I'm going to do that at some point. It's on my to-do list. I want to create a page that says "near you" and then do all the nice SEO stuff with the original pictures, different from my homepage, change some things up from the homepage, and maybe do some other schema and blah, 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 SEO optimizations, yada, yada, and do that. So the near you thing still works, which is just to illustrate. I say this all the time that the obvious things still work. The straightforward things still work. There's still people still say that having a URL that's keyworded, having Carlisle Real Estate .com doesn't really help. As long as the rest of your website is SEO optimized, the URL doesn't really matter. Well, that's kind of true. If it's all optimized and you're crushing it all the time, then maybe it doesn't matter. But being very literal in all the things works for sure and gets you the fastest gains, in my opinion. So having the URL worded correctly, having a page that says "near you," having the keywords in the proper places, doing all the kind of old school things, not being spammy or repetitive about the keywords and everything, but definitely doing all the straightforward things that I feel like a lot of times these days people say you don't need to focus on too much. You just need to make content that people like, and it'll figure it out and know what it's about and stuff like that. But I think it's very important still to have some consciousness of being very direct, verbatim, exactly what people are searching or close to it sometimes. So that's a good illustration of that near you having a page and talking about near you on your website still can work. And then the last piece of news here is a new chat feature. So in your Google business profile dashboard. I have not turned mine on yet because I need to do a video of it when I do it. But if you go into your Google dashboard, your Google Business Profile dashboard, click on Edit Profile. And again, this is a big deal because that Edit Profile tab is the most important stuff on your Google Business Profile. This is the stuff you don't change willy-nilly. This is the stuff that if you change it the wrong way will cause an unverification or suspension or something. It's the only tab you have access to when you get suspended or unverified. So the Edit Profile tab is pretty important. The information in there is pretty important to have complete and correct. And when something changes in there, that's somewhat of a big deal. So we had a change yesterday is when I spotted it, and I really wanted to post about it yesterday. I'm definitely posting about it today because somebody else is going to get a screenshot and put it out there before me. But anyway, and it might not be in every business's dashboard. Sometimes a cafe might not have the chat feature, or they don't get it till later, or whatever. Like a cafe does not have products; it has a menu thing, and it's got a little bit different stuff. So anyway, in real estate ones for sure, and I didn't check. Maybe I'll check said cafe and see if they got the chat feature in theirs. But so far, it's in all the real estate ones that I'm managing. So if you go in your Edit Profile tab, right below where you put your phone number is it's called chat. And you'll remember not too long ago, a few months ago, I guess it's been, maybe 6, I forget, time flies. But this in 2024 for sure, the messages tab in your profile went away. So you used to be able to message a business on a Google Business Profile, but you can no longer do that. That went away not too long ago. But now, kind of in place of that, I guess, and I like this feature here, they have this thing called chat. Um, Allow customers to chat with your business via SMS or other apps. The other apps are WhatsApp. So if you click on the drop down menu, the WhatsApp is the default there. If you click on the drop down menu, it gives WhatsApp or text message. So I know a lot of us don't use WhatsApp. If you do, great, use your WhatsApp in there. If you don't, click that text message button and put your phone number in there, whatever you get your text messages on probably the same number above, but maybe you have something different. And again, I really want to do it in my own profile right now, but I'm not gonna because I'm not recording it. So anyway, chat. And again, that's a kind of a big deal. And every time you go into your profile, if you haven't for a long time, Google likes it. If you're in your profile, clicking on especially like the edit profile tab, scan through it, make sure there's no suggested changes from Google, make sure there's no new features. The chat, obviously, brand new. In the attributes down at the bottom, if you have a physical location where people can visit, the parking attributes were new not too long ago, so you'll want to fill those out. There might be suggested changes, like I said. Your hours, make sure they're still correct. Your special hours, you want to click on your special hours and make sure you're selecting and saying you're open every single holiday. You can do what you want, but I'm open normal business hours every single holiday until it becomes a problem. And guess what? If I get 3 listing calls on Thanksgiving, we'll celebrate Thanksgiving the next day, next year, whatever. And it hasn't happened. Easter is a big day for sure, and holidays like Martin Luther King Day or Washington's birthday or something like that, where people are still doing business for the most part. People that work, people are off school, but a lot of people still doing business, still doing searches. And if they searched for a real estate agent on Martin Luther King's on that Monday, and you hadn't said that you're definitely open, you would be demoted or maybe still where you would be, but you would be showing as red. It's kind of an orange color when I see it, but red may or may not actually be open right now. They didn't tell us basically, or the other result that says green, definitely open right now. We know for sure they're open today on Martin Luther King Day. So you want to get your special hours and hit that. But the point being, just coming in here, poking around, obviously making sure nothing's wrong, no suggested changes need to be okayed or edited, and then any new features in here. So hit up your edit profile tab, hit up that new chat feature, and hit up the rest of your settings and make sure everything's the way you want it to be. With the reminder again, location, do not change that unless you want to re-verify. That is a big deal, changing a location. Changing your name is a pretty big deal as well. You definitely don't want to change it too many times in a row. I'm waiting. Yeah, I gave everybody my long diatribe about what I'm waiting to do. I'm waiting for my physical license to be able to change mine because I changed it recently. It let it happen, but have to change something again. So I fear a re-verification coming if I change it. So blah blah blah. So anyway, the name you don't want to change willy nilly either. Usually you can change it a time or two. If you changed it to a completely different thing, like Google would think it's a completely different business, then it might not allow it. But typically you can change the name um, as long as it's not too many times. But the location, for sure, you never want to change unless you really intentionally doing that. And then the business name, same there. Um, and then also while you're in there, like I said, scan the rest of your settings, check it out. So hit up that chat. Now I can't get back to my dashboard. And then the other thing that I would check if you're in your dashboard enough is click your edit services and just scroll down it. Because a lot of times, and especially if you have a good website or doing website things, it will scan your website and put stuff in your services that it thinks you should have there. So you just want to go in there and say okay, as long as it's not something that's way crazy that it's pulling over. I personally hate it when it pulls over staging or drone photography, all those things that we all have itemized as like listing things that we provide, and then Google says, "Well, you said you provide those. We should put them on here." I don't want them on there because that's not what I do. I'm not a photographer. I'm a real estate agent. But unless you're going to fix it on your website, it will keep pulling them over probably. So you either got to fix it or just okay it at some point. But the point being, at least just click on that edit services tab and just scan through it, make sure there's no suggested changes from Google. If there are, take whatever appropriate actions you need to take. And then doing all the other things obviously is a good idea too. So that tangent, I guess, was from the new chat feature, which I always loved that. I was very excited when I was in that coaching call yesterday and I pulled up his edit profile tab and we were going through it. And I had been in profiles multiple the day before and I didn't see it. So first time seeing it, and I was like, oh, sweet. I had to take a screenshot, make sure I don't change mine so I can do a video later. Whenever you get some content, good something to post. That's I don't have to think much. That's nice. So new chat feature. That is all the news I have. Anybody have any questions or issues with anything else before I get into the topic?
Hey Derek, it's Denise. Quick question on that new chat button on the Google profile. I'm going to go in and check out to see if that's available on mine. But do you, and I know it's new, so you may not know the answer to this yet. Do you think either the WhatsApp or the text one is better than the other? And um, how would we know it? I guess if you're using text, you would know because it comes to your phone. But like, would we get a notification if someone sent something to your WhatsApp? Like, how would we know if somebody chatted us? So this way we can respond, timely or quickly.
Yes, you are correct. I did not test it yet. Well, first question, does WhatsApp or text message matter to Google? I don't think either matters, just matters speed to lead. So whichever one you're going to do. If you don't use WhatsApp, I obviously wouldn't use WhatsApp because that's just another app you got to put on your phone. And I've gone down that road and I'm like, well, what am I? This is an extra thing. I'm not that high volume that I need to like, and I'm not doing international. Just I don't have a call for it, so I don't use it. If you use it, sure you could use that, but I'm guessing most people would just be the text message. I don't think Google cares either way. I'm guessing, and again, I haven't tried it. I've got to do the user end of it. So I'm going to change mine, and then I'm going to go on my other phone as another user, and then chat with myself and see what happens. But I'm guessing there's some sort of Google interface on the consumer side when they click chat. There's probably a button that says chat, and then when they click it, probably takes them into an interface. On our end as the business, it's probably just a text message. You get a text message. Maybe it comes from Google as kind of a go between, and you're not actually texting their number. Um, we'll have to find out. So, first answer is I don't think it matters for the WhatsApp versus text message, and second answer is I don't know. But I'm going to be testing for sure as soon as I make my video on about the new feature and put mine in there, then I will test it and probably do a video. That'd be a good video too, but I'll definitely be yapping about it next week. Or if somebody's going to do it right now as we sit here and test it, feel free to do that and speak up also.
Thanks,
Any
Derek.
other questions or anything? Yeah.
I think that's, I don't know. I hesitate to use the WhatsApp. I have it, but I find I get so much spam on that, like from out of the country contacts all the time. So I do have it, but I hesitate to use it because I never know what's coming in there if it's for real or not. And I don't know if anyone else finds that too, but I do find a lot of garbage coming through that. But anyways, just wanted to comment on that. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. This is Maria from Boston. Yeah, I have the WhatsApp too, but I also find the same thing that Denise finds, a lot of spam that comes through it from other different countries.
Yeah, it does get a bad rap for that reason. Which is kind of sad because there is legitimate people that that's what they use, like the whole world, other than us, apparently, or whatever countries it's allowed in. It's heavily used. So obviously, Google is integrating it with text or WhatsApp are the only two options. So it sees the world and everybody as that being an important communication tool. So it's a shame that it gets that rap. I don't think it's completely unfounded, but probably not totally warranted. I have it just because if somebody does legitimately want to use WhatsApp or something, then I have it. I got an account set up. I can use it. But I don't want to make it easier for people to just click a WhatsApp messaging thing and message me. I don't know.
Good
Who
morning.
doesn't Cindy? Is Cindy in here? Go ahead.
This is Isela from Phoenix, Arizona. I use WhatsApp because obviously I have in our country in Mexico they use that a lot, so I do have it. I don't get that much spam, and if I do, it's easier to block. But I just did go in and edit my profile, and I was able to do the WhatsApp and put the phone number in there. So I'll report back and see how that goes.
Nice. Well, why don't I live Isela
Let's do it.
Felix, and I'll be seeing your Facebook ads all the time, Isela. Um, they're all up in my feed. Uh, which is yeah, share if you're getting something. All right, I'm on yours. Top row of buttons. I do not, and it's possible it just didn't take effect yet either, but nothing in the top row of buttons that says chat. Nothing down below that says chat. Bottom row of buttons, more. Add label, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all right. Well, I might try yours again later or
Maybe it
something.
takes a little bit because I literally just did it as I was walking and I was hearing you, so it might take a little bit to save.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Sweet. And you did the WhatsApp, correct? Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, I did the WhatsApp because I use it with a lot of family members. And funny enough, I advertise on WhatsApp. Like I'll put my listings and stuff like that, and I do get traction from clients that are on WhatsApp. So it's working for me, even if it's not like I can say it's a direct client from there. It reminds them, or it prompts them to ask me questions, or reminds them that I'm doing real estate. So I do use it.
Nice. There you go. An example of good WhatsApp for good. It was a lot in the local services ads, a lot. We had in the messages, it's always a message. Can you help me with a house? Please WhatsApp me and other places too, obviously, and that's why I got the bad rap. But people do use it. All right. Eric, come on up if you would like. Any other questions, issues on that or otherwise?
So I got here late. Give me a 30-second update because I use WhatsApp all the time.
Yeah, so there is a new feature. If you went to your Google Business profile, the Edit Profile tab, which is all your main information. So somewhat of a big deal that there would be something new in there. There is a chat feature. So a little while ago, they took away messaging. There used to be a messaging section. They took that away off the Google Business Profile, and now they have added just right under your phone number. You'll see it says chat, and then for the chat, you have two options: WhatsApp or text message. And then that
Got it.
for the conversation about the typical WhatsApp conversation. All the
And
spam comes from WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is useful and people do use it. That kind of stuff.
aside from
Any
traveling
yeah.
internationally and using it a lot in Latin America, I will say that I find younger kids using it more. I think it's the encryption, I think it's the simplicity, but younger population seems to be drawn towards it more than the older populations because I think they like the Facebook Messenger look and feel.
Yeah, that would make sense. Plus, it's like hip and trendy also, and the young people care about that kind of thing. And then when they get older, they're all on Facebook anyway. Trying when they have to make money, now they're all on Facebook again and answering emails and stuff, doing all the normal things. But yeah, that's a good point. I like that point that the younger people might be sitting on WhatsApp and doing things, or like WhatsApp might be a good marketing channel too. Like, well, it is part of Meta, so when you make a Meta ad, I don't think the placement selector that I remember, and I'm about to make a new series, the same YouTube ad series I'm making, I'm going to put it on Meta too. So I'll see if that's on there particularly, but I don't remember seeing WhatsApp. It's got to be though. Why wouldn't it be included with the Meta? I'll have to take a look at that. Anybody else? Any opinions on WhatsApp?
I was going to say it's a really practical too for groups. So if you run a real estate team or have several agents you work with, creating a group where you guys can communicate through WhatsApp is really streamless. I mean, it's pretty. It can get complicated because you can do video and other things, but it's a great way of group messaging.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You can, with text messaging, you can't, and I don't care, even with iPhones, you can't send videos and like attach. It's not the same. Like Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, it's more like a full messaging thing. And I know you can kind of in Apple and you can on Google too, but that for that feature, I feel like videos go through more as like you're seeing the full fledged high definition video, not some different version that was somehow changed to be in this messaging system or whatever. Anybody else use WhatsApp? Love it? Hate it? If not, I will move on.
I
We got
use WhatsApp. Hey, Derek.
there you are. I was wondering if you were going to weigh in.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's Cindy over in Salt Lake. Yes, I use WhatsApp. I have since the beginning. Of course, as many of you know, I own a brokerage in Istanbul. That's how everyone in Europe communicates. And I mean everyone. They don't use their Turkcell or whatever other providers. So it's great. I really like the feature of the when you get a business profile, all the different features that you can use in there. But yeah, good to be with you all.
Morning.
We,
Thank you for
I
chiming
think
in.
Cindy brings up a good point though too. If you're an agent that works in a market that has a lot of relocation, are you sort of making it difficult for your non-US based clients to stream into your life to get comfortable? If they use WhatsApp for everybody else but you, maybe you're creating barriers that you don't need to.
I don't follow.
What I'm saying is
Being
we
where they
tend
are.
to work in the platforms we're most comfortable with. And so if I work in Miami and there's a lot of Latin Americans that are living in Miami and use WhatsApp for everybody else, and I'm like, oh, I don't use it, then they have to go outside their comfort zone to message and communicate with me versus me coming into their comfort zone where they can go, oh, yeah, I've got a great agent. Her name is Cindy. Let me WhatsApp her information to you.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Now I follow. Thanks, Eric. Yes. And yeah, that goes with it really any and all platforms, doesn't it?
Yeah, being accessible, easily accessible. At minimum, have your freaking phone number on your Instagram. Go in there, click edit profile, click contact options, and put your freaking cell phone number on your Instagram and everywhere else too. Start with that. And then I do sympathize, like at some point, it's so many places. Like if you text me or email me, I'm gonna see that faster, way faster than all the messaging places. Clubhouse, I like never look at. I'm sure there's money and leads sitting in there. There always is when I look, and I should take a day maybe just to go through all the messaging places. But the Facebook messages and the Instagram messages and Clubhouse, and then if you did WhatsApp. Um, but I do. I obviously you got to be where the people are.
Hey, Derek. So wait a minute. In in Instagram, I'm looking at my bio, and I don't have my number there. I have links. So if you put your number in that bio, um, is it even going to be a clickable number? They could tap on it and call you from there. They've got to go into the link anyhow. What? Yeah.
I think it
Oh, wait a second. Then there's contact Cindy and
it
Instagrams.
pops up
Oh,
at the
there it
bottom of
is.
your screen. When somebody
No,
clicks it, it pops up, and then you just click call, and it goes right to your phone.
there it is. Personal SMS or exchange contacts. And that is in my, yeah. So I got the little bio and then it has a link, and I have two links in there, one to my website and then one to contactcindy.com. And I guess that's the one that Instagram put together for me. Remember doing that. Oh,
Uh,
huh.
if it's a
No, that
link, you
must have
probably
been my
put it in
link
there.
tree. That must have been my link tree. Okay.
Contact options is what you want when you go in to the edit
Oh,
profile,
oh,
and
there it
then in
is.
there,
Okay.
yeah, you can put your phone number. I would put email too. Some people are worried about the
Yeah.
email.
Okay.
Phone
I have
number's
my
there,
good
and
point.
WhatsApp.
Okay. First one that comes up is my WhatsApp, my US number, my Turkish number, and then my email. Oh, good point. Hey, Derek, seems I'm off map or off mic here. This morning, I just discovered Google has this notebook. Have you heard about that? Have you
Yeah,
guys talk?
Notebook LM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know about that. And so Hakan told me, oh, yeah, he's uses it a lot with his studies, that it sounds
yeah.
just like a
For
podcast. He
for
gave me,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, well, as we put different HOA docs, disclosures, and things in AI in ChatGPT to have them, kind of assess it. I didn't know about this in our back end of Google Drive, that Google Notebook. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It essentially podcastifies whatever information you give it. And it probably does other summaries and kind of similar to ChatGPT if you upload a bunch of documents and some of these. I don't know if you can upload videos soon. If not now, Google at least, you'll be able to upload videos. It's too much information for a lot of these things right now, I think. Some of them maybe. Don't quote me on this, but um, anyway, you upload information to the thing, and then it will basically make a podcast out of it. Two AI people, or three, or eight, or whatever you tell it to do, probably. But at least two people. There were two in the example I heard, and the example I heard, they uploaded a textbook for like a fifth grade science textbook or something like that, and then asked it to teach chapter five or teach the theory of this to the 10-year-old. How old would that be? My kid's in fifth grade, so that's 11, 10, 11-year old, to teach it to her. So I said, hey, Johnny, nice to see you there. Me and Mark are going to teach you about science today. And it started going into it and kind of talking about it. You could interject and say, hey, wait, give us an example that relates to basketball because Johnny likes basketball. Okay, here's an example from physics that relates to basketball, blah, blah, blah. So you could upload as much as you want up to the limit of how many, I think they call them tokens, basically the amount of information you can upload. I think Google still has the highest number if you pay for the thing. And I haven't tried the free version. I paid for it for a while when the stuff came out. and the nope, the podcastifying thing didn't really work right, so I didn't do it. But um,
Well, here's what
I'm
I'm
sure
thinking,
people
Derek.
another one. What's that?
Here's what I'm thinking. So you put in your listing, and then, of course, you really dress it up. So it's not just, 10 sentences on describing the property you're selling. Then you put in all of the community, and then you write about the bigger sized metro. And then, so for me, I dial in, I got this Mill Creek, and then I talk all about the community around it, Sugar House, Brickyard, so on, so an hour from 8 different world class ski resorts, and just keep building that out. And I would bet that's going to help me in my Google searches, elaborating and just keep going
Yeah,
out. And then about Utah and its economy and jobs market and on and on and on. And then you can catch those reload people. I bet you that it will be helpful in our search is on a big picture. What do you think, Derek?
I mean, I think you could definitely use it, not even think about that. Use it kind of as a blog because that's how it would help you. You need to get it onto your website to have it some kind of discoverability or something. So use it to write blog articles about real estate or local happenings or whatever. You could like take the week's stories, upload them, and ask it to give you a summary. And then there's your sum. Like I'm looking at it right now. It gives you text answers to stuff, and then also you can ask it questions, and then you could also click to load the conversation. So I assume when you click that, it would start talking. It's got a record of the last things talking about, FAQs, timeline, study guide. You can add notes and everything. And I'm guessing, I know ChatGPT, you can upload things to it and ask it questions and do similar things. I haven't used it, but yeah, Notebook LM is where specific. That's why Gemini, that's where I think they're falling short with Gemini, with Google's AI, because all their things are separated. Like Google Gemini, quote unquote, is kind of one thing. It's like a chat GPT interface that you ask it a text question. It gives you a text answer back for the most part. But then if you want to use the feature of uploading documents and getting something back from it, now I have to go to notebooklm.google.com to a whole different place, like it's a whole different product or whatever. And then Gemini is in my email, which is great. I love that now. If somebody doesn't do a add to calendar thing, that's my favorite thing in AI of the last year, I think, is in emails when people don't put in like, here's an easy calendar link to add this to your calendar. Google will just figure out from the text when it is, and I can still just click add this to my calendar. I love that. But all theirs is kind of fragmented. It's all over the place. If it was just one interface, just Gemini, and then at Gemini you click like information compiler or whatever the heck it would be called. But yes, so that's interesting. Students are using it. Does he pay for it or does he use a free version?
He uses the free version. And what did you say you like most about it? Doesn't go to other sources, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what he likes about it, he puts in all his study data. He's getting a master's in architecture, and it doesn't go out and search the web for other material. It will only give him. So he can take
Correct.
these big text, the big text that he's learning, put it in there, and then listen in audio rather than have to sit down and open the page. So that's what he really likes about it.
Yeah, that's killer. It could just be a what's like an audible to
Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
read things to you.
Now, hey,
Especially if it's free. Students
yeah.
probably get sometimes students get the pro version for free even. I know Google gives pro versions to schools and stuff, but anyway, what
Oh,
were you gonna
yeah,
say?
you can check that out. So, switching gears, if I might, unless somebody wants to
Sure.
say something about Google Notebook. I know we're wrapping up on top of the hour, but I've been
I'm still
getting
gonna do
asked.
my topic I came here with, so
Oh,
it'll be
we
here
haven't
longer
got
whether
the.
people stick around or not.
Oh, good.
But
Okay, well, I'll make this quick. So, I was wondering. I've been going to ask you this, Dirk. Wikipedia. So I keep getting these offers. I'll make your own little Wikipedia page, and I can't remember if it's $2.99 or $3.99 or $300 to $500, and you can have your own Wikipedia page. What do you think of that? Has anybody done it? And would that help us on the bigger scope of the World Wide Web being searchable? What do you think?
I think the benefit, if there was a benefit, it would be that you could potentially get your website link on Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a huge presence on the internet, Google, a lot of authority, yada yada. So having backlinks, they're called, having your website URL on other big websites, that can help your website rank better. So there would be that benefit if you could get your URL on Wikipedia. Other than that, the only time anybody would see it, if they obviously did a branded search for you, you would see it probably. You never see Wikipedia other than like someone like Anita Cordell, maybe. I know her IMDb interferes with real estate when you do a branded search with her, and maybe some other people. But Wikipedia, I don't think I've ever seen a Wikipedia in any branded search results for a real estate agent. So you'd be unique. Whether it's beneficial to have it in your search results when somebody does a branded search for you, it's very hard first to get it approved. When I just Googled get on Wikipedia, and the first thing says we have 97% approval rate. Get on Wikipedia. So obviously there is a trick to getting yours. You can't just go on there and just do it. It does say though Wikipedia how to create a page.
I'm,
Interesting.
I'm, yeah, so I'm doing it as we speak because I've been gonna do it, right?
Okay.
And what I'm thinking is, the blue checks. Well, that used to show that you were kind of, elevated, shall we say. And then after that, everybody could start buying the blue checks. Now, instead of a blue check, I mean, if you pop up, somebody's searching you and you pop up and there's a Wikipedia page on you, yeah, I think that that's going to set you apart. So whether it's searchable or not, I just think in terms of, I think there could be value there. So I think I'm going to check it out. I'm creating my profile right now.
Yeah,
So Derek,
I like it. Let me know. Keep us posted. Cindy again with the multiple episode updates. So we will find out. And I'm looking at. I clicked it, and you could have multiple links in these posts. So you could have your different links to different pages on your websites. You could have multiple links in a Wikipedia write up or whatever you call these things. Um, huh. Yes, I like the idea. And you definitely would be unique for sure. Like I said, you never ever see that in somebody's results until somebody, I don't know how, it's hard to change also, but like other users can change and suggest updates or things. And I've heard of people being tampered with, or you hear it all the time. Stars, they're like, "Ah, that's completely wrong," and interviewers that just base the whole interview and what they're talking about on the Wikipedia page for the person. But yeah, I like that. I might try just because it's unique. I want to do it and see what happens. I'll wait to see what happens with you, I guess.
so Derek,
What's up?
I hear a joint business venture. Instead of Wikipedia, you could develop a realtorpedia where it just profiles realtors, real estate agents, etc., and it'd be like a directory, you know, their best top hits, their legends, that kind of thing.
I think it's called Zillow.
Yeah, Zillow. Hey, Derek.
And I ain't
Okay.
rating my agent probably too. Experience.com. I like it though. You need a full-time writer. The way to compete with all those would be more extensive writing and images and original content, yada yada.
So, Derek, can I ask you? They're asking me, so I've set up my account on Wikipedia. Now it's saying, why did you create your account today? And my choices are to fix a typo or an error in a Wikipedia article, to add or change information to Wikipedia, to add a photo to Wikipedia, to create a new Wikipedia article, or I'm participating in a class or event, or to read. What do you think there? And I'm thinking on these bottom ones, right? So I'm participating in a class or an event, or to create an article, or to just read it. And then the other last option is other. What would you put there, Derek? To
Recap
create?
them one more time, real quick.
Yes. Okay. So the top ones I'm not going to read again because they're irrelevant for what we're doing. To create a Wikipedia article. Second one is I'm participating in a program, a class, or an event. And then the last one is to read a Wikipedia article. And then the other one is
Create.
other. So what that would just kind of make you irrelevant. So I'm thinking create too, to create a Wikipedia article. And it's going to be about real estate in Salt Lake City.
And is an article just what they call is everything? Like if I look up, I'm on there right now. Let's do Richard Gere. I don't know why I always choose him. And when I taught seniors
You
tech,
kind of look
it,
like him. Maybe that's
I always use him as the example that things that like these old ladies would Google. How old is Richard Gere? Anyhow. Oh no, my headset is dying. That's all right. It should last for the next 10 minutes, should be more than that. So, yeah, when you go to Richard Gere, so I'm wondering if, like, this page on Richard Gere, oh, yeah, it is. It says article or talk. And then there's like a forum, maybe, where you can give feedback or something, possibly. But it is an article. So, if, yeah, I would say create an article for sure. And then report back. I'm very interested now. I might try to do that. All right, I guess I should get to this topic before my headphones die here, and then my sound is gonna suck once that happens. So, report back, Cindy. We love it when you
okay.
participate in the conversation.
Will do. Thanks, Derek. Carry on.
All right, so the big piece of news, the thing, and when I send out my email, I'm gonna have to do one of the old skip to this many minutes and seconds to hear the topic that you actually tuned in for. But it's good because you make everybody wait and hang out, right? Or whatever. Anyhow, um, so this blue ocean strategy, I was on a call with Marilyn Milliner, who some of you know, and she was supposed to be here, so I don't mind calling her out. And it's fine that she didn't come. I can still talk about it. But she was the one I was talking to, and she mentioned that in her local services ads, she has property management and rentals turned on, which we all obviously turn off. And even if most of us know that with the local services ads, a lot of times, even if you don't do rentals and you have rentals turned off, you will still get rental calls, which you then hope that Google will not charge you for, and you used to be able to dispute and get your money back. But so most of us, property management, obviously, that's a different business. I don't have a property management license in Pennsylvania. You have to be a property manager, unless you worked for a property manager or your firm does it and you're doing it in conjunction with your broker, or you are a broker with a broker's license, you could do it. So typically, a lot of us have property management turned off and rentals turned off. She said she has both of those turned on and she crushes it with both getting rental listings but also getting investors calling. This is the more interesting part. Well, the listings would be the investors, but getting investors calling looking for a property management company or somebody just to lease their property. So she's getting investor calls. She's had, I mean, lots of rentals and a bunch of listings from investors calling because of that property management being turned on and the rentals being turned on. Now, obviously, if you did that, you number one have to make sure you're allowed to do that in your state and everything, and a lot of places you could, sometimes you couldn't, but a lot of times you could. And then you would also have to be okay with taking some bad, like you're gonna get some low credit score rental calls that aren't going to pay you money and that you don't want to pay for as a lead and stuff. But if you have rentals turned on, then you're going to get charged for that. If you get a rental call from the renter, the person looking for an efficiency apartment for $200 a month or something. So you would have to be okay with paying for those bad leads. But like she said, and then the more I thought about it as she talked about it, there's nobody else doing it. We all have property management and rentals turned off. Also, on our Google business profile, we pretty much all have every rental thing turned off. So this is very wide open, I think, in most markets. For sure, wide open for like proper property management companies, because they could create a Google business profile, a local services ads account, and then just run it just property management and rentals and probably get tons of business from it, because those property management companies they typically don't spend a lot of time on Google business profiles and local services ads and those kind of things. Every agent that is running them has those turned off. So for an agent that could do and profit from those, maybe even for those renters that call, you have somebody you could refer them to. So it's not a complete loss of $50 for that lead to Google. It's, I can at least refer them to this property manager that I have a deal with that will give me a referral fee, or will at least like kick them back to me when they want to sell or buy or whatever. So if you could swing it and you had a way to profit from it, and I would do rental listings, especially if it was, well, they're all investors. If you're doing a rental listing, that's an investor you're doing it for. They might sell it, so it's a good way to meet investors, to sell that property, to sell them other properties, to list other current properties, all kinds of things. So I don't know whether I want to do it, because I don't. You definitely have to have systems and be ready to do it and everything. But for somebody that wants to test it or can convert those rentals and is okay with paying for the bad rentals that come in, I think it's a great idea. I was kind of sitting there slack jawed when she said it. She's like, I got property management and rentals turned on in mine. I was like, oh God, don't do that. She was like, no, I get rental calls and I get all these investor sales. I closed like five rentals last week, five rental listings last month alone. I'm doing like five or six a month, or like, holy crap. Plus listing some of the properties from these people or selling them other stuff. So it made my brain explode. Definitely good for somebody to try that has the back end and can make it all work and everything. And obviously, the legal thing is if you're turning on property management. Obviously, if I were to turn on property management, I don't do that. If somebody were to call, I'm saying, yes, I can list your house, because I can definitely list the house. I can provide them also with lease documents and things like that, but neither do I want to property manage. And then I do have a property managed buddy of mine with a company that I typically refer people to if they want proper property management. So I thought that was very interesting. I think if you were to do that, you turn on property management, turn on rentals. Maybe you don't do property management. I really want to turn that one on with it though, because that's going to really push towards the investors more than the just rentals. I feel like only turning rentals on is going to get me more of those crappy quote unquote calls, and the property management maybe bring the other ones in. So probably turn them on both in the local services ads. And then if I was doing that, I would make it match in my Google business profile as well. Might be able to get some free calls from it. And also, you want them to match up as much as possible, because they are, as you know, as I've stated, you must have a Google business profile now to have local services ads. That was not true in the past. And all the things have to match verbatim. That's why I'm in the naming kerfuffle with my Google business profile, because I just changed it. Now I want to make my local services ads match, but you can't use a vertical line on local services ads, so I have to change my Google business profile to a dash instead of a vertical line. And I'm scared because they're going to unverify me if I change my name too many times in a short span. So anyhow, that is the Blue Ocean strategy. If you want to try it, give it a whirl and report back to me. I would love to hear if it works for other people. I might try it at some point. I can't test everything myself. I always want to test everything, but I can't spend the money or have the time to do absolutely everything. So if you want to try it, turn on property management, turn on rentals. That would be in your profile and budget tab in your local services ads. Scroll down to the services and then turn those on. And then I would also go into your Google business profile under edit services. And then you would click add more services under each category, and then turn on, they have beach property rentals and sales. So if you have beaches nearby, I'd turn that one on. Condo rentals, I would turn on, whether you think you have condos or not. What else? Furnished property rentals and sales, probably turn that one on. Property rentals, straightforward, would do that one. If you're doing property management, there is a property management service you can turn on in your Google business profile. Short-term property rentals, I would probably turn that on. So I would go in there, and then there may be a couple other different ones under the other categories. But I would go in there and make that match up. If you're going to do the rentals, I would just go full in on both of them and do a good like 3 month test, maybe at least a month. Even a month isn't really good enough to get enough info out of it, but 3 months. And with local services ads, you're probably not going to spend a ton of money. It's not like testing a regular Google ad or something where you're spending 500, $1,000 a month no matter what. The Google Business Profile side of it is free, and the local services ads, unless they flood in, which maybe they will, you probably won't spend a super ton of money trying to test it. So give that a whirl if anybody wants to. Anybody have any questions, concerns, wows with that? Anybody going to try it, or everybody like, ugh, I want nothing to do with rentals, which was my first reaction. Anybody?
Well, I'm getting in my profile now, Derek, but I do rentals also in Istanbul. I never done a rental here in the States, and it's a very good part of my business. So the because I work with the foreign conglomerates and they have deep pockets for, they bring the expats in. If you all know what an expatriate is, they get moved around with their company, and so they pay them big. They provide a very nice housing in the private schools and everything for the children. So an average rental price 10,000. That's a month and a half. The my fee structure is 12% of the annual lease rate, which equates out to nearly 1.5 months rent. So I can rent a, a house or an apartment or what have you, villa, um, for and it's like selling $1 million home here. Same thing as selling $1 million home here, which is why I didn't get into real estate when I started here. I didn't go bother even getting my license because, well, got here and we just finished up. We were on the tail end of the housing crisis, right? So rentals I do, and now you've got me getting onto my page, make sure that I have that listed properly in my Google profile. I'm sure that I did. I'm sure that we did, Derek. But thank you for bringing that up because I do them, and I do need to have them. And then guess what? Oh, you know what? We've decided that we want to sell. We want to have that. We're done with that rental, and there's your lead, right? You've already,
Yep.
yeah. In many of my properties, um, when the uh, client, the expat coming out, I'll put a new one in, right? So I just filling those. They're revolving doors, and it's very good money there. Works in my market there for sure.
Yeah, the whole conversation has got me rethinking my stance on rentals. And I've never been against like listings if somebody wants, yeah, around here if it was a house, 3 4 bed 2 car, like a suburban house, you're looking 2 to 4 thousand for a typical kind of medium house. And they would rent super fast, and you don't have, I don't, at least Marilyn didn't, she doesn't do professional photography or all that stuff. It's just cell phone photos, put it up, it's rented in a millisecond. They would be rented here in a millisecond. The rental market is just like the housing market. There's nothing available out there, and the rents are what I feel like are bonkers. But yeah, I think it's a great blue ocean strategy to try. And everybody else doesn't want to do it, which makes it even better. And especially in the markets where it's rentals are more of a thing, and they're higher price rentals also, that for sure be quicker. And it's an easier transaction really too. What do you show the property, you run credit checks for them, if they want that, you help them through the application process. You maybe help them work with their lawyer for a lease that they like. But once that's done and they have a lease, like you're running. Is this person good? Yeah, I like that person. All right, sign the lease. There's no 30 days and due diligence and all that stuff. So, hmm, talking myself into it too, and just referrals too. Even if never did one ever, if you had a good way to refer them and get money from that, that'd be great too. Cool. My headset's gonna die here any minute. Every 10 seconds, it's going beep boop beep boop, beep boop beep boop. Gonna die. Gonna die. So I will end it off, and we're past anyway. Thanks for hanging out and sticking with me, and everybody listening later. You made it. And if you skipped right to the Blue Ocean Strategy, go back and listen to the rest because there was a lot of good stuff in there too. A lot of good news tidbits that I've been saving up for the last 2 weeks. Anybody have any final questions, issues, wins? Also are welcomed. Anything at all? Cool beans. We will close it out. And I had an outro I'm not going to do because I still don't like doing outros. So we're just going to say peace out. Thanks for hanging out. And we will see you hopefully next week. Oh, yeah. I was sick. Stomach flu last week. That's why I didn't do it. Kids were home. Like one would get it. They would get better. Then the next one would get it. They would get better. I had it first. So it was like a string of 4 people, so that's 4 days. Plus, there were like a couple days in between. It was like a whole week of puking and other things. And with little kids, all that stuff gets everywhere. Piles of towels, piles of sheets. That was not fun. So that's why I wasn't here last week. But next week, hopefully, we will be back here. So see you next week. Thanks for hanging out, and peace out.